bring that real talk when it comes to sports, covering the news, giving you the truth. Nothing but that real on hoops in the league. All things NFL, we don't miss a thing. Getting with the coverage, we loving it all day. Picking up the news, tell us wherever the ball lay. With the NFL, NBA, they box so. Sports news in the hands of a man with fair takes. Tell them, coach, statistics and realness that's being spoke. Either hit it for the win or they hitting the goal posts. Either way, we woke up to the news of the day. Any kid he could call it, he like to talk it out with Ray. Fast breaks down the lane, they better move out the way, or they pulling from perimeter. Curry bury the trade, yeah they got it. Woo! Duval with the hottest, Chris and Dev like the master, and mix it up like it's Logic being modest. They been looking for that real, trying to get it feel. Sports podcast, they running back on the real. That's a steal, yeah. They never sick, but they ill. Real sports talk going, deliver, signed and sealed. We bring that real talk when it comes to sports, covering the news, giving you the truth. Nothing but that real on hoops in the league. All things NFL, we don't miss a thing.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Real Talk. It's Monday. It's a great day to talk about sports. I'm here with my guy, Kenny, man. How you doing on this evening?
Man, I'm great. Man, my Knicks are in, got that number 2 seed locked down. We got that 50 wins. You see, I got my throwback.
Can't wait to talk about that.
I'm hoping it's going to bring us some luck because it's the last championship team that was ever around. So, man, I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing amazing. You know, life is great. Can't complain too much. You know, you talked about your Knicks. I'm looking at my Sixers the way we ended the season, even though we are in the play-in. You know, the way we played, it was amazing. I don't want to take – I'm not going to talk about it too much. We're about to talk about it a little bit, but I'm proud of my team, and we might have a potential, you know, friendly wager on the line coming up.
We might. we do. We're all on the collision course.
Yes, we are. But before we get started, man, let the people know anything you got going on.
Yeah, man. So I made a small goal. I'm up to double figures in terms of subscribers for my YouTube channel. So everybody that's tuning in, please go to YouTube. It's my name, KENITHN as in Nathaniel Moore, or at Coach_ANYKENY. I have a goal of reaching 100 subscribers. So I need everybody that tunes in, whether you watch this now or later, go subscribe. Also, the last couple of weeks of my team's fundraiser is ending at the end of this month. So if you go to Giving Zone, you can contribute and help us out. And then my last thing is I have a scholarship for HBCUs. Me and Chris going to get together and he's working on getting some info for me. So it's in honor of my first wife who passed, unfortunately, in 2018. She's an amazing singer and songwriter. So it's a creative scholarship. So if you do anything within the creative space and your music, music, fine arts, that type of major, this scholarship is for you. So we'll be announcing that real soon, and we'll be doing that live on my show as well. So stay tuned for all that.
Absolutely. Well, on my end, I'm going to drop some predictions for the play-in tonight, tomorrow. Then on Thursday, you know, right before Real Talk, I'm going to have episode drop, have my predictions for the playoffs. So it's going to be a fun playoff series, man. I can't wait. Hopefully we match up.
Yeah, that'll be a lot
of
fun.
Jersey bet on the line.
No doubt. No doubt about it.
Man, well, before we talk about the NBA, I want to talk about the WNBA draft that's taking on today. I'm a little surprised at some of these picks. Obviously, everybody knew Caitlin Clark was going number 1.
Right.
Cameron Brink from Stanford going number 2, not surprised. Cardozo 3, going 3, not surprised. Now, this is where things started to shake up for a lot of people. Bulls be one and done. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to talk about your Bulls. Don't worry. I'm going to talk about the Bulls. But you got Rickea Jackson from Tennessee going 4, J.C. Sheldon from Ohio State going 5, Aaliyah Edwards from UConn going 6, and Angel Reese falling to 7. Now, a lot of people that aren't really tuned in, you know, they seen a name like Angel Reese and surprised she fell this far. I think this is a perfect spot for her as far as her draft stock. Now, how her and Cardozo are going to play together is what I'm really curious to see because
Mhm.
Angel Reese, she's going to have to work on that outside game, not just free throw
Mhm.
line in, but the extended elbow, having mid range. Because you look at a lot of teams at WNBA, that forward position, somebody that could put the ball on the ground, or they're like a Asia Wilson, who's a dominant post player.
Mhm. But
So
she
they
can
have
face up also.
she can face up also, but she's so dominant offensively. It's not a lot of holes in her game. She's one of the leading scorers in the W. So when I look at that, I mean, honestly, it could be a great, front court dynamic. Those two together, it could be unstoppable. But it's all about how in the Chicago Sky they trade away their best player. So that team, they need youth, they need stardom,
Mhm.
and they need impact. And so you can dominate rebounds, dominate inside. I'm I'm gonna be tuned into the Sky this year. Definitely gonna be tuned in. The Fever got a lot better with Caitlin Clark. I know a lot
Mhm.
of people are saying. I'm gonna ask you this. A lot of people are saying that Caitlin Clark game, it's not going to transition well to the WNBA, and it's funny. Well, not funny, but it's curious to see how you have people in the media or social media or whatever talking about how they think Caitlin Clark's going to transition, and former or current WNBA players think it's going to be tough on her. How do you feel about that?
Uh, I do think it's going to be an adjustment period for her, because it's going to be, you're playing against grown women that, in the physicality part. I mean, and one of the things that I did notice is that she didn't really like to be touched. So that's going to be an adjustment for her where it's going to be more physical.
Hmm.
And she going to have, but I don't anticipate her struggling too much because when you have the range that she has and the ability to put the ball on the floor, as well
Hmm.
as the playmaking ability, which is underrated as well. People talk about her scoring, but she's a really good passer. So I think that that combination, and we talked about it before, they have the potential to be a Stockton to Malone situation. Like her and Aaliyah Boston have that,
Yeah, I think the same thing.
and that's for lack of a better term because I'm sure there's a female situation that's like that, but
Hmm.
that's just
I
of
mean,
course I'll
I
be
will. I
biased.
will look at. I will look at Brianna Stewart and I don't.
Yeah,
I don't want to miss her in Eskew.
so,
I
and
will
that's
look at
good.
it.
Yes, that's a good
Yeah,
one.
that's a
That's a
great
good one.
1-2 combo.
That's a good one. But I did want to touch on a little bit too. Um, Angel Reese. I did
Hmm.
see. I don't know if you saw. She's been in the gym with Chris Bricky.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah, so she's looked like she's been working on extending her range, and the shot looked a lot better, just in a
a
little bit
little bit of
uh
work.
yeah, yeah, because she had she had that chicken wing where
Yeah, that
she
little
her elbow,
hitch. That little
yeah,
hitch
and her
to it.
elbow
Yeah.
would kick out, and
Hmm.
so I think that it looks like that was starting to get smoothed out, and so it's just about reps. It's just about
I'm with
mechanics
you.
and things of that, and creating muscle memory and shooting the same shot. So, but she got a skill that rebounding. That's a
Yeah,
skill
we talked about this.
that translates on any level.
Every level. You'll
Yes,
be able to see minutes, especially in the W, being a rim protector and being able to grab rebounds. And she does that in elite level and being able to finish off an offensive rebound. And her and Cardoza, I mean, like I said, if they're able, to get a point guard around them, there's somebody that loves to distribute the ball. Some people that love to shoot the ball because we talk about Caitlin Clark, and I'm gonna go to that in a second. Shooting always translates.
oh for sure.
It's certain
That and
things that will
rebounding,
always
shooting and
translate. Shooting
rebound
and
always
rebounding.
translate.
If you can do that at any level, you'll be successful. And Caitlin Clark, I mean, she has extended range, like you said. Aaliyah Boston had a very good rookie, outgoing. And I think Caitlin Clark, she may not average 30, but she's definitely going to average anywhere from 5 to 8 assists, I think,
Hmm.
easily. And I think she's going to be closer to 20 points than people think because she's not
I
afraid
agree.
to go to the basket and
Nope.
she'll get used to going to the basket.
Yep.
And also, she's going to put up 10 plus threes.
Absolutely.
So if I'm putting up 10, 11 threes, I'm making 3, 4 of them. That's 12 points right there.
And then once her and Aaliyah Boston find their chemistry,
Hmm.
and with her playmaking ability, that pick and roll is going to be a monster to guard.
It
So it's going
is.
to be one of those pick your poisons, and because of the range that she has, you could start it
Hmm.
so far from the basket, and that spacing is just going to be a nightmare to guard. So
Yeah.
she I don't think she's going to be 25 and 30 or anything like that coming out the gate.
Nope.
But I do think that she's going to be, anywhere between like 17 to 21 points per game. I think she's going to definitely do that.
No, I'm definitely with you on that, and I can't wait to cover the WNBA. This summer, which I talk about the WNBA as much as I do, and the Fever. I know they had a lackluster performance, but they have a nice squad, and I think Caitlin Clark was that missing piece. I told you I watched the WNBA in the summer. That point guard with that extended range really was that missing piece because you got Boston, you have somebody in Kelsey Mitchell who can put the ball in the basket. Wheeler is somebody that can also be a facilitator. Caitlin Clark wants to be, looked at as a scorer more. So I'm not saying they're going to win the championship, but if you like, good basketball, tune into the summertime. But speaking of good basketball, Team USA, did you see the list?
I did.
Let me read you all list. And I have my thoughts on it. But for everybody, if you haven't seen the list, LeBron James, Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, Devin Booker, Drew Holiday, Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, Bam Adebayo, and Tyrese Halliburton. How do you feel about this list when you first hear it?
Honestly, I'm a little surprised that LeBron is coming back for another round.
He said he was going to do it.
I
I'm
know.
not
I
surprised.
guess I still was surprised just because he's got so many miles on his body, but that guy's a freak of nature. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess also because of where it is, being that it's in Paris, although I'm sure he's been everywhere that you could think of, but that's a special place to be able to play. So I'm thinking that too. Um, but no, I'm not really surprised. Anthony Edwards is on the list, right?
Of course, has to be.
Okay, just making sure.
There's one
I
person
thought I
on the list
saw.
for
Yeah.
me that I think has no place being here. Well, let me not say no place. That should not be here.
Who's that?
Well, let me rephrase what I'm saying. His game fits into the style of play that they need, but if you look at name recognition wise or players that may deserve it more than him, I think Tyrese Halliburton would be the guy I would take off. However, his game translates to that second unit because on the second unit, you're going to have Anthony Edwards. You're probably going to have a Devin Booker. You're going to have Bam. You're going to have some shooters, and he's going to find guys that make life easier for them.
For sure.
But I'm looking at a guy that wears a New York Knicks jersey and Jalen Brunson, and he might not average 12 assists, but he averages about 8.
Yeah. Well, I think he did, and I think Halliburton really the biggest reason was because he really played very well last in the World Championship. So, and I was like his coming out party.
I'm with you. I save my thoughts for him when another list comes out.
Yeah, he's another one that I was surprised that was on the list as well. But I guess once you play the World Championship, then
you win gold. You win gold.
And it's not the same. The World Championships and Olympics are two different things. So I get why he would want to come back, but
wait,
that made me want
Drew won gold in the 2020.
Oh yeah, he did. He sure did.
He was
on
that team.
That's right.
They went right. Him, Chris
Middleton.
That is
surprising. Yeah. So I'm surprised they didn't pick Jalen over him. Honestly.
Well,
because he's younger.
I look at the defense aspect. You're gonna need certain guys. Not saying that true. When I look at it, I don't think you need role players as far as 3 and D. No, as far as 3 and D, because I look at Melo, he was essentially a 3 and D. He's a great scorer, but he just was a 3-point shooter. But the role player, position I think is important will be the defensive side. Like you have him that plays defense. Second unit, Anthony Edwards plays defense. Bam Adebayo plays defense. So I think, and there's one more spot, if I'm not mistaken. Those are 11 names. There's one more spot that's open. I honestly think they wanted to pick Kawhi, but it's been reports,
I don't think Kawhi want no parts of it.
Nah, but I think when I look at this roster, they're definitely going to bring in a bigger forward. Paul George might be a name. I think if George Randle was healthy, he'd be a name. Don't be surprised if you see, Jaren Jackson Jr. had been thrown in here.
Yeah, but he's been in and out of the lineup, so I think that's one of the reasons why he didn't get an invite. So
you know what, Paolo Banchero.
That's an interesting one.
Let's do that. Because I got to go back.
I wouldn't be mad at that at all.
Paolo Banchero. I think that's the way to go. in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. I would agree with that. But then who are you taking LeBron off?
No, it's 11 names on here. It's supposed to be 12. If I'm not mistaken, the last report I saw, let me count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, 11. There's 12 roster spots. That was only a list of 11. So there's one more spot open. So they can bring in
But
that
they
extra
said they
guy.
held out the article I read on ESPN said they were holding the spot for somebody, so maybe it's for him.
I mean, yeah, because and there's nobody else you could bring in. They all gonna play on and nobody else you could bring in. Like, let's not, let's bring in guys. Let's bring in quality guys. This roster, I don't think any team is going to be as good as the 1996 team. Because when you look at the All NBA nowadays, we have a lot of European players from different countries. So when you look at that 96 team, it was full with all first team, second team, All NBA guys. It's not going to be the same. John, and speaking of that point, SGA is Canadian.
Yes, yeah, that
SGA
ain't
is
happening.
Canadian, and when you look at these teams, Canada has a good team. Canada has a good team. France, if Joel Embiid went to France, that'd be a problem. He was getting his citizenship. They said they was gonna play Wemby at the 3, which Wemby.
Oh yeah, that would have been stupid.
Oh my goodness. But I think nobody beats this team. I think Canada. If I have to go back and look to see who's going to opt in and play, but Canada would be to me the best team because they're a team that's also full of pros. Full of pros. I think Australia, if Ben Simmons was ever healthy, would be a fun team to watch. But
Giddy.
They got some guys. Let me look it up. We could save that for another time. I don't want to take too much time, but we can talk about that close to the summer. But Australia on paper, they got a decent team. Again, nobody's definitely going to beat USA, and I think Canada is going to be the biggest competition.
Yeah,
Argentina and Spain was.
Yeah, I think it's the 3 of them. You got USA, Canada, and France.
Yeah.
You can't forget about Spain too. Can't forget about Spain. Spain has some.
We'll consider it a big 4. You could get Chet. You're right about that.
You could.
And Chet's a guy that could play the 4. Him and Ben could play at the same time.
4 and 5.
AD.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's a lot of length.
And he amazing impact. If Wemby wasn't Wemby, Chet would by far walk away with Rookie of the Year. But
that's facts.
As we wrapped up the NBA season on Sunday, which was a crazy day of basketball. Now that the regular season's over, let me ask you this. If you had to describe the NBA season with one sentence, how would you do it?
The year of surprises. The year of surprises. That's how I would describe it. Because if you would have told me before the season started that OKC would be the number 1 seed in the West, I would say you're nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's why I say it's the year of surprises. Because between that, Joel Embiid going down the way he was on his way. He was on his way to another MVP season.
Mm-hmm.
The Knicks winning 50 games for me is a surprise. Sacramento, I thought they were going to be taking a step. They kind of took a step backwards, so that was another surprise. So yeah, it's just a year of surprises for me.
Okay.
You're just saying a lot of things that happened that I didn't expect to happen. So that's why I was surprised at
that. Hey, you're not telling stories about that one.
Oh, man.
For me, I would say the year heartbreaks and Knicks done amazing. Pace I fell off. Yeah, okay. I see.
Yeah, I'm with you
they
there.
Definitely did. But the year of heartbreaks, that's what I'm going to call it for me. You look at Philadelphia, prime to be a top 3, top 4 seed. MVP Joel Embiid MVP year. It wasn't even close. Like how he came
Oh
out and
no, he
said
was like
his comment. It wasn't even close.
40. He was giving 40 out.
It wasn't even close. He was running away with MVP this year. You look at heartbreaks. You look at a team like the Lakers. Not saying they were the best team to win a championship, but we all had different expectations for them. You look at the team like you said, like the Sacramento Kings, injuries and just I think bad off-season moves had them to be stagnant to where they are in the play-in.
But
You look
what
at
was the hold on though? But what was the bad off-season move that you think? Because they pretty much brought the same team back.
exactly.
Okay. That
You
they
brought
that
the
they stood
same
pat.
team back,
Okay.
which is Fox. Then you have three and D guys in your starting lineup, which aren't the best with the ball in their hand. Like Keegan Murray, maybe it's the opportunities, but those guys are really just shooters. They're not, I'm not seeing as much offensive development like a guy like Malik Monk. You give him the ball and you're guaranteed a basket, or he's going to create some type of offense. I feel like they should add another player to that caliber to that team instead of guys that are just standing looking for open 3-pointer. Guys that are more comfortable. Like Harrison Barnes does it at times, but it's not consistent. Keegan Murray does it at times, which I'm high on Keegan Murray, but it's not consistent. Kevin Herter,
they're the same
again,
guy to
not
me.
consistent.
So
Exactly. All three
I
of
get
them.
your point.
So,
yes.
and I look at a team like the Warriors, complete meltdown.
That's
a team like the Bulls. We want to talk about the Bulls. A complete meltdown. They just and then you look at them not blowing it up in off season. So as much as the season was great, but I'm not going to sit up here and say the season wasn't amazing. But man, I feel like it could have been so much better. So much better. But to me, I say it every year. We'll keep saying it. It feels like every year we get a great season. 70-point performances from multiple players. Bench guys getting 50. Hell of a year.
But there is another. I got to add one more.
Mm-hmm.
The year of no defense.
Ooh.
I got to. Hey, this is real talk, man. I'm a defensive coach, and my team finished number 4 in team defense in the city. So yeah, this was disgusting for me to watch. I'm not disgusting. I take that back. That's harsh. It was hard for me to watch. Seeing games like 130, 140, 150 point games in the regular season, like it was too much, man.
Well, to play, selfishly, I didn't. To play the devil's advocate, I mean, defense was bad at times, but you see games where players are just hitting tough shots. Great tough shots and great offensive plays that, we want to talk about defense. We seeing guys set a screen for another screen and a guy flares to get a wide open 3. So I think the innovation and I'm with you. There's sometimes where defense is lazy. We're not going to sit up here and act like it's not, but we also, you talked about coaching, we talked about schemes. What was our biggest thing with the Mavericks for a while was defense. They ended the season off with, I think, the best record for the last 15, 16 games, and they were ranked the number 1 defense at that time. So that comes with trading for Gafford, which I mentioned in P.J. Washington. You add in size, and you being able to scheme better. So I think the regular season, and I don't like it as much, but you also have games, your Knicks and my Sixers. Was that an exciting game to watch? Was team scoring 50 points in 40 minutes?
Yeah, it's a balance to it. And I think that it's something that they're going to address in the off season. I think I saw something where Commissioner Silver was saying that there's going to be something that gets addressed.
But I think it's easy to fix, though. It's easier to teach defense. Players aren't learning defense. They're coming to 18 years old, and they don't know anything about defense. They don't know coverages. They don't know the simplicity of defense. I mean, you look at a team like the Nuggets. They don't have a great on-ball defender, but they're a very good team defense because they communicate. They have veterans around the locker room. They understand what it takes to, for things to get done. And it's all about commitment and effort, because the Grizzlies, when they had all those players out and all these G League guys and two-way guys, they were playing very good defense for a lot of games they were playing. You beat the Bucks, multiple times. You're beating these top teams because they have commitment and effort. So I think it goes both ways. It's teaching the real fundamentals and have veterans, but also having guys with commitment and having guys with effort. Luka and Kyrie, we know they're going to give, especially Luka, minimal effort on the defensive end, which is sad, but it's true.
Yeah.
How can you combat that? Your whole team can't be giving up. Like I have it right here. The worst defense as far as points per game. Look who you have. The Washington Wizards.
I knew
right?
they was up there.
You have the Utah Jazz who play zero defense. The Atlanta Hawks. The Pacers, who was it? What Pacers? One of the best offensive teams.
I know they were.
Sacramento is bottom 13.
Yeah.
You look at the team like the Bucks. They were top 12. It was getting 116 points. The Lakers giving up 117 points.
That's
you have the Bucks who's supposed to be contender for a championship, and they bottom 10 as far as giving up points per game. So it should be addressed. I don't think it's as bad as some people may say, and I think the playoffs is going to show that defense is
it'll be better in the playoffs. But like they have to do something. I think that they have how do I put it? Legislated the physicality out of the game. Like we got to bring back.
I agree with you on that. It has to be some type of physicality.
We got to bring some. We got to bring some of the physicality back to the game because guys are just getting into the lane untouched. And I don't know if it's a modification to the hand check rules or something along that line, but guys are just going. They have nobody impeding their progress whatsoever, to use a referee term. I'm sure my brother, if he's watching, would love to hear that. But you can't. You can't basically. Guys have free reign. It's like Broadway. I said that before. Like the lane is just wide open. I don't know the defensive 3-second. Maybe they adjust that. But they got to do something because these 130, 140, this ain't it.
I'm with you, but then we talk about physicality, and I'm not saying this is you, but a lot of players or people that are stuck in this 90s, early 2000s era love to talk about the physicality. No, I'm saying they love to talk about physicality. When I look at the skill developed, yes, it's less physical. But a lot of these guys, all they had was physicality. That was their skill. That really a skill I want to be
Which
teaching.
is a skill, though. Let's not get it twisted.
It's a skill, but all that physicality is not going to help you go against a Luka or a Kyrie. All that physicality is not going to help you all the time, especially when the rules and stuff is changing. So we can bring the physicality back. I'm with you, but to what extent? And with the physicality back, I know they tried to bring in this little flopping thing. It still don't work because players still flop. So they're barely calling this little flopping technical. So I'm with you. Something has to change on the defensive end. But I think not saying you, but if you want to feel this way, a lot of people aren't grasping how fast this evolution of offensive skill has come.
No,
and
for sure.
It's here. You got a guy like Zion, who his height, but he's that fast and that explosive. You have a guy, Kevin Durant, who's 7'1", who hezzy pull. You have a guy, Wembanyama, who's 7'4", who is top 3. No, matter of fact, I think he was number 1. He was number 1, if I'm not mistaken, and step back 3-point percentage over 43%.
That's
at
crazy.
7'4". So some of these things, you have, Joel Embiid, the most dominant post player in the game, but can give you 4 threes. Things are starting to change. I'm with you. The NBA may have to change some things, but why don't we have some defensive specialist coaches? Like when Tibbs was making them. You look at his teams; they're always great on defense. Offense they may hit or miss, but one thing they're going to do is have defense. We look 100%. In the NFL. We have offense coordinators and defense coordinators. Why don't we have these coaches that specialize in making offense great, or like there be real titles specialize in making the defense great? Because I saw, what the Mavericks did to end the year, being one of the best defensive teams. So I know it can happen, especially when you make the right moves. Yeah, so I think it's just a lack of effort, because there's no way I look at 100%. The Lakers team, and I know you have injuries to Vanderbilt, which hurts, but they were trash on defense. They had no perimeter defense. Because you got to think about it. Hachimura is their best, defender. He's not guarding any guards. Your best defender is your 4 and 5, basically.
That's tough.
They have no perimeter defense in a perimeter league and a perimeter conference. So we're going to have to bring in some more defense specialists too. which
Yeah,
is just
yeah, yeah. But I think two things I'll say. One is that I agree with your point about having a defensive coach, but most staffs do have guys that's because you have different roles on in terms of assistant coaching staff.
mm-hmm,
You have guys that are play development guys. You have guys that are, that focus on the defensive side of the ball. Then you have guys that focus on the offensive side of the ball. Scouting, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm sure that all of the staffs have a guy, but
mm-hmm.
to your
Well, they
point,
all need
it's
to get
effort.
fired. They all need to get fired. They all need to get fired. If they truly have a guy, then they don't deserve that. Well, let me not. I don't want to say they don't deserve to have a job because I don't want to take food off their table. But at the same time, what are you really doing? How are you executing your job? You're supposed to be, this defensive guy. Why are you giving up 140 points? Why are the Hawks giving up 160 something points to the Pacers, who they said the Pacers average 130, 140 points every time they played against the Hawks? What's that
Yeah,
defense coach
yeah.
doing? And I get
No,
it, personnel help, it makes a difference. At the same time, man, they do the same play, high pick and roll, stop it. And
yeah, yeah, and
you
yeah.
can't develop a package to stop it.
No, yeah, I think
Yeah.
you're on to something. I think it's something that all these coaching staffs are gonna have to look at in the off season in terms of varying their coverages because 9 times out of 10, most bigs are playing drop coverage. So
Mm-hmm.
you're just leaving the lane wide open and he's just manipulating that big and he's sitting back there and he ain't just pulling up for three. So it's one of those things where you gotta, whether you're going to isolate or you're going to pre-rotate or you're going to blitz the pick and roll. However, you got to vary your coverages because
Yeah.
the higher level, to your other point, the higher the
Mm-hmm.
skill level is, the higher the IQ is,
Yep.
the more you're gonna have the different things you're gonna have to throw at them
Mm-hmm.
to be able to keep them off balance because you're not stopping. You're not stopping the you're not stopping the KDs, you're not stopping the Kyries, you're not stopping the Trey Youngs of this world,
Mm-hmm.
whoever name you want to put in there, because of their skill level. But you
Put
got to
it
at
back.
least make them.
Mhm.
You got to at least make them work for it. Like I
Absolutely.
see guys like just toying, and I just see guys just having just free reign. It's not even. It's like sometimes SGA just like he's just toying. He's going like 75% because it's just that
Yeah,
easy.
it's
For him.
just his
So,
pace. And I do see, well, one thing I saw best, yeah, he does like the flopper a little bit when he gets some contact. Not saying he can't play through contact, but I mean, my best player flops, so let me not even let me not even get to it. But real quick before we move on, I know you talked about the drop coverage. I forgot where I saw this clip. I'm gonna find it so we could play it. But it was somebody saying that you can play drop coverage. Nobody's gonna pull up from deep, except for Dame, Steph. They must not be watching basketball
yeah,
because
it's not
almost
true.
every single point guard,
Yeah.
maybe except for SGA, if you play a high pick and roll, they'll pull up from 30. And their coach is going to say good shot. I saw Tyrese Maxey do it. Halliburton was doing it. Brunson is doing it.
Absolutely.
Fox is doing it. So this high pick and roll, if you're playing drop coverage, like sometimes when I watch the Bucks play and it was Giannis and Dame running the pick and roll, they would trap it. They would do different things. If it's Brook Lopez, they'll play it a different way. You have to, well, that's why I think playoff defense is going to be 10 times better because I know I'm playing this team at 4+ times, hopefully 4, but you're playing the team over and over and over again. You can find what works on the defensive end the most and stick to it. So I'm excited to see how. I don't want to spoil it. Some of these teams are going to play defense because we have some great matchups.
No question. I think, but the other part of that is that as you're going in the regular season, because the games start stacking up, and you got they don't do it as much as 3 games or 4 nights, but as the games stack up more and the less practice time that you have, the less time you have to prepare for teams. So I think that that's part of the reason too, is that they may have to do some adjustment to the schedule in terms of spacing out the games a little more, so that way the coaching staffs. And that's the coaching staffs have a little bit more time to prepare more more detailed scouting reports.
Well, speaking of preparing some scouting reports, we have some matchups tomorrow, Wednesday. Now it's funny that couple of these teams recently played, and they're very familiar with each other. So on Tuesday, we have the Lakers and the Pelicans. Then we have Golden State and the Kings. And on Wednesday, we have the Heat and the Sixers and the Hawks in Chicago. Now, for people, if you don't know how the playing works, I'll give you an example. The Lakers are the 8th seed. New Orleans is the 7th. Whoever wins this game will be the 7th seed. And the loser will go against the winner of the 9th and 10th seed. So for the West, it'd be the winner of Golden State and Sacramento, and they'll battle out for the 8th. Now, it's crazy that a lot of these teams were winning their last games, but everybody's record is the same. Before we get started, let me ask you this. How do you feel about the playing tournament? Are you a fan of it? You know, you look at a team like New Orleans, who've been kind of consistent. Brandon Ingram got hurt, messed them up. They're still technically a playoff team, and now they might not make it. How do you feel about that?
I like the play-in. To your first question, I like the play-in tournament. It gives a little bit more of an excitement. It gives almost like an NCAA tournament feel, where it could be a one and done in that 9-10 game. Well, it is a one and done for that 9 and 10 game, so it gives you that feel. So I do like it, and then it gives it's almost like an additional round. So I like it. I'm a fan of it. But these are good matchups, and I'm looking forward to seeing. And to your second part of your question, I'm really disappointed that BI, him coming down with that injury. Like I have been high on the Pelicans for a few years.
Same.
And the fact that Zion was able to finish the season, I think he played 70 games, which is a high for him in a few years. And BI couldn't be healthy. Like that's disappointing to me, because I think with a healthy BI, they have a big three to be able to really make some noise.
And they have a supporting cast too.
Absolutely, they got shooters. They got everything.
Shooters, defenders.
Yes, they have
Herb Jones is one of the best young defenders in the league.
Absolutely,
CJ McCollum and
Trey Murphy is a knockdown shooter. So they got a lot of pieces. So I was a little disappointed in that. So and I haven't seen BI. Is there
he's playing? He's on a little minutes restriction though, but I think they're going to try to lift it for this game.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
But which is crazy, because the Pelicans, they played these three other teams that's left. They were all their last games to the season. The Kings, the Warriors, the Lakers, and they beat the Warriors and they beat the Kings. So I don't think they're as nervous if they would lose. I think they can get the 8th seed. But what's your predictions for the West? And then, John, we're going to get to that comment. Who do you think is going to win out of Lakers and the Kings? And then who do you think is going to win out of – the Lakers and the Pelicans? Who do you think is going to win out of the Warriors and the Kings?
I'm going to pick the Lakers just because if Ingram was healthy, I probably would have picked the Pelicans, but because he's compromised, I'm picking the Lakers. And LeBron seems like he's hit his stride, and all the reports are that AD is going to be all right and ready to go. So I'm going to pick the Lakers. And then that second game, I'm picking Golden State. I'm sure Ray loves to hear that. But yeah, the Sacramento's lack of defense, and they already have that mental edge Golden State has over them, having winning that Game 7 in their building. So yeah, I'm picking Golden State in that second game.
For me, I don't know what the Lakers are going to do, because I really think they don't want to play Denver. And I know we talk, I know it's crazy to hear a team say they're going to tank or not win a game on purpose. But the way LeBron is, the way Anthony Davis is, and the way this team, when they're hitting on all cylinders, can beat anybody, their best path is the 8th seed. But then you have to ask yourself, are you willing to go against the Kings who've had your number all year? And Sabonis has been dogging Anthony Davis all year. Are you willing to go against Steph for one game where he can get you 60 points? So the Lakers should beat the Pelicans. you know, they've had their number against the Pelicans, so I'm gonna pick them to win if they don't want to tank. And for the next game, I'm honestly leaning towards the Kings. Um, I think that 1-2 punch of Sabonis and Fox is going to be one for the show. And I'll say this: the Kings play better at home. There's certain teams this year there's certain teams in general that are just a different team at home. You look at Keegan Murray, his numbers, his splits from on the road and at home is astonishing. If he plays like he usually does at home, that's a difference maker. Harrison Barnes, because of Kevin Huerter's injury and Malik Monk's injury, he's actually doing more, which those two injuries are impactful. But you got guys on that team that's stepping up off the bench, and Davion Mitchell, and you got Ellis. So I think it's going to be a close game. Obviously, you can't stop Stephen Curry. Nobody can stop Stephen Curry. But you have to ask yourself, if he's somehow having an off night, is Clay going to be able to be consistent? Is Andrew Wiggins going to actually be able to get you 15? Kuminga has been battling injuries these past couple of games. Is he going to be there? You know, is Draymond, can you trust him not to get suspended? I mean, kicked out the game? So there's a lot of different factors. But for me, I'm going to Kings. And Johnny, your comment. I mean, we could talk about it now. They're going against the Pacers. And then in the next topic coming up, can the Bucks win a series without Giannis? You know, Giannis has that calf strain. I feel like it's more than a calf strain. How do you feel about his injury?
I'm concerned because we saw, although they're different body types, him and KD, we saw what happened the last time that this happened with a guy with a calf strain.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping and praying that that is not the case. But I'm concerned because a calf strain doesn't heal that fast.
Mm-mm.
You know, so I don't know how I don't know how they can win a playoff series with a hobbled Embiid. I'm not a hobbled Giannis. Unless Middleton finds the secret sauce and Dame just goes off and just drops 30 and 40 pieces. Because again, we talked about how lethal the Pacers offense is. So if you don't have all of your weapons to be able to run with them, it's going to be a long night. So I just don't see how they can win without a healthy Giannis. And defensively, they're shaky. So it's just a bad matchup all around for me.
It definitely is. It's no secret I'm not a fan of Doc Rivers. That I wanted him. I wanted him fired after we lost in the first round.
The second round.
The second round. It felt like the first round.
Yes.
It's no secret. I think he's not a good coach anymore. Has been for a while. But when I look at this series, even without Giannis,
I'm not putting this on.
I think they got the best matchup for them. I don't think they wanted to play the Magic. They didn't want to go against that Orlando Magic team because, man, Tyrese Halliburton post All-Star has not been the same Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You lose a Ben Mathurin off the bench, who's another guy. You talking about playoffs, half-court offense. He was one of the only guys that can be a half-court scorer. So I think that may show more an effect because we haven't really seen a transition team like the Pacers run and gun really being able to win and adapt with that style in the playoffs, to my knowledge. So I think you need as many half-court scorers as you can. Now, bringing in Pascal Siakam, I think is going to make a difference. We're going to see it, especially without no Giannis. Because who's going to guard Pascal? Chris Middleton? I like Chris Middleton. But Pascal's taller, stronger, more athletic. So I don't want to fully say I think the Bucks are going to lose because with no Giannis, Dame has free reign to do what he wants against a team that plays no defense. Chris Middleton, he's a guy that can flirt with a triple-double with no Giannis. Brook Lopez, this is a series for him without Giannis. He's going against a team with the Pacers who are terrible inside the paint. Sorry, Miles Turner. You know, you're iffy this year. You've been iffy.
They don't.
So
don't get me started.
So things going to be a close series. But I don't believe in the Pacers like I did in the beginning of the year. I think they came back down to reality. So, John, to answer your first question, I think they're going to be one and done. Now, when it comes to the Suns,
I think they got a great matchup.
I think I know for a fact everybody wants to avoid Denver in the first round. Even though I think Suns and Mavericks, they didn't care to play them. They would have played them and been fine. I think nobody wants to play them. I think the Suns have a great matchup. They beat them all 3 times in the regular season. Um, this is a matchup that they wanted. This Suns team,
100%.
with the addition of Royce O'Neal, which was major, with Bobo seeing minutes and him actually flourishing off the bench is major. This Suns team is legit, John. So I believe in the Suns 100%. Like, I think I'm not going to give my predictions. I'm going to save that for Thursday because I want to see how these playing games go. But I'm definitely a believer in the Phoenix Suns. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal's been hitting his stride the past 6-7 games. You saw that contract Grayson Allen got?
I did, and he's a Jacksonville guy.
Yeah.
So, and we actually played the high school that he went to. We played him this upcoming season. So, yeah, man, shout out to him, man. Because and what's crazy is they got 3 Jacksonville guys on that team. I was talking to one of my buddies at lunchtime. They got him. They got Big Udoka from Kansas, who played at the Potter's House down here. And then they got Nasir Little that went to North Carolina.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember Nasir Little.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool that they got 3 guys there. But shout out to him because he kind of bounced around a little bit. And he was,
with
it was
Portland.
a little question. Yeah, he bounced around a few places, Memphis, Milwaukee, just to name a few. So the fact that he's able to find a niche and also find a role and somewhere that embraced him, that's a credit to him. And then he's also another byproduct of the Lethal Shooter. He's another guy that worked out with the Lethal Shooter, and we've seen his results. I'm surprised, and maybe it's because he's turned it down, but I'm surprised he's not on somebody's NBA staff as a player development coach.
Yeah, and I feel the same way with Chris Brickley.
Yeah, he's another one. Yeah,
because I saw, he said he worked with, it's more than open runs. He posted that thing with him and D'Angelo Russell, if I'm not mistaken. We saw how he shoots the ball, catching it like this, not down here, but he catches it and still being able to shoot. I think that was Chris Brickley. We saw him shoot that shot, and everybody's like, oh, what is he doing? There's nothing but that.
Just shot right. Yes.
So I like what these trainers are doing. But let me ask you this. As we look at the first round, we look at this Bucks team. If they somehow lose this series, again, the Pacers have had their number. If they lose this series, first reaction, what do they do this offseason?
If who loses this series?
If the Bucks lose this series.
Well.
Giannis is on a quote-unquote calf injury. And you got to think his game is all like when Kevin Durant came back, Kevin Durant was hitting jumpers. The first time he tried to do something athletic, but when he first came back, he had 11 points off all jumpers.
Yeah.
Giannis doesn't have that luxury.
His game
is built off athleticism. So if he has to sit out most of the series, and they lose, what you doing?
That's the problem. Is that his whole his game is based off of getting downhill and driving to the basket and being explosive, and bullying people, on his way to the basket. So if he can't do that and he doesn't have his lift, he's not the shooter. He's nowhere near the shooter that Kevin Durant is, and it just makes him a lot less more effective, and he's almost human to a degree if he's not able to have his legs. So. But if that does happen, honestly, I don't know what you can do because.
Sorry, Doc.
But that's to me that's easy fix. But they should have never brought him in the first place.
We all agree on that.
Like the fact that you make a change like this mid-season was preposterous in itself.
Losing
because the guy had a winning record. Right, he had a winning record. Now, clearly, he was rubbing guys the wrong way. There was some communication issues on the coaching staff because one of the assistant coaches, the Portland former head coach, Terry Stotts, thank you, he left. So there was definitely some issues with Adrian Griffin, but it could have been adjusted in the offseason. I think they jumped the gun and it's derailed their season. and they're stuck with Dame. You can't trade Dame. You got Giannis on a long-term deal or
You
about to
can't.
sign.
Why can't they trade Dame?
Who's trading for Dame with his contract at his age?
I just asked. I was just asking.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like Middleton, he's
Mhm.
been compromised in terms of injuries. Brooke Lopez is getting up there in age,
Mhm.
so I think that they're kind of hamstrung in terms of their flexibility to be able to make a deal. So I don't know. Besides getting rid of Doc Rivers, I don't know if there's much else they could do.
Yeah, I'm with you. Trades are gonna have to be made. I just don't know what trades. But I really
Bobby Portis, maybe that
and
gets you something.
something. But I like
But
you have to throw in a Middleton. But I really asked myself though, and I hope the Bucks for their sakes. I hope they make it far. I hope they win a championship so they can say everybody was wrong. But I'm really curious, and this is not me being a hater, on what made them think Doc Rivers was the guy for the job. No, seriously. Like, let's be honest. Like you said, the defense was messed up.
He wasn't the guy. So if the defense was your issue,
Doc Rivers
he
is not the
wasn't
guy
the
to bring
guy.
in.
I'm
No,
with you there.
the Doc Rivers was a byproduct of good defensive players, not a good
And
defensive scheme.
honestly, everybody said that that was Tibbs who was the defensive guy for the year that they won the championship. So
And then
Doc is known for his, after timeout.
I don't know what he's known for.
I could tell you, he's known for his ATOs, which is short for after timeouts. He's known for that.
Losing
he's
leads
known for
in
being
playoffs.
You got
Let's just be like, that's what he's known for. You Google Doc Rivers, it's gonna say the most blown leads in the playoffs, 3-1, 3-2. But no. Doc has some things he's good at, but he has some things that he's been bad at. That is the reason why he hasn't won a championship in 16 years.
Yeah,
and he's still getting head coaching jobs with great teams, that haven't done anything.
You speaking facts. I think this was one of those. This is the situation here to where I think you got to give him a. Yeah, probably that may be the issue. But I think you can't. You have to, because you already brought in Doc in the middle of the season. You can't fire him.
Sadly,
you can't, because you already switch gears midstream. So yeah, at least give him an off season to be able to implement his own system, to bring in his own guys. That's another thing. You can't. As a head coach, and I went through this past season. You want to have guys on your staff, or guys that you trust, guys that you know, guys that share the same sensibilities and mentalities, ideas in terms of how you want to approach the game. So you just getting rid of the head coach, and he's got all of his, all of Adrian Griffith's guys there. That's what's gonna happen to me. What'll happen in the offseason is they're gonna turn over the assistant coaching staff. Doc is gonna bring in his guys and guys that he wants to, have on his staff, and that's what'll happen. I think that's gonna happen regardless, but it'll definitely happen if they lose in the first round.
Yeah, if I was a betting man, which I am, once I get more news on this injury with Giannis, I really might consider betting Pacers. And I like the Bucks players, and I love Dame. I love how they play.
Favorite players, man.
I love Patrick Beverley. I love Bobby Portis. You have a head coach that just have not got the job done, and maybe this is me being spiteful, but I also don't say things. But everything I said was 100% factual.
No, you are facts. You're speaking facts. That's why I said. As funny as it is, it's truth in every joke.
I'm not going to sit up here and, like I said, I try not to say I don't want nobody to have a job because I don't want to take food off your table. But I just don't understand how not even Glenn Rivers gets this job. But anyway, we're going to wait, because again, I really want them to prove me wrong, because I want Dame to get a ring. I want Giannis to get a ring.
Well, he already got one, but
I want him to start stacking them up.
No, and that definitely kind of put him on the next tier in terms of all-time greats. So
because he's a guy. Yeah. So let me ask you this, and before we move on, my last NBA question, man: should teams that are in the play-in look, because next time we're gonna be on here, play-in's over. So should teams that are in the play-in, the Heat, Sixers, Lakers, Kings, Pelicans. Should they look at their season as a failure?
No, because all those teams in the West had winning records.
True.
So I can't say that I would look at it as a failure, but I would look at it as a disappointment.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Okay.
Like, especially if I'm the Lakers, I'm looking at it, especially since you won the mid-season tournament. Like that should have, you know what I mean? Like that should have propelled you.
You know, you're right. You're right.
That should have propelled you over the second half of the season to be better.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that it didn't, like, that's a disappointment. But I wouldn't say a failure.
Okay. Yeah. Disappointment's a better word, so I'll go with disappointment because Hawks disappointment this year. Bulls are always a disappointment, you know. But I look at a team like Miami and the Sixers as far as the East. They're going to be the 7-8 seed to me, easily. You know, it's going to be. I don't want to say I'm disappointment because they got hit with injuries. I'm with you on the West. Only team I'm gonna say is disappointment is the Kings and the Lakers. But everybody, before we move on, talk about some NFL. Kenny, let the people know something.
Yeah, man. So we will be right back after this quick break. Yeah, so brands, entrepreneurs, business owners, anybody that's looking to advertise what you do, your products, your services, get at us. You can DM us. You can contact the network, and this spot could be yours. So get at us so you can advertise to our audience.
Yeah, beginning, middle, end. We got slots for y'all. Just hit us up.
Slots.
You can hit us up personally. You can hit us up on ASAP. We're definitely gonna get back to you. Now, Ken NY, no pun intended. Let's talk about NFL. Something we haven't talked about in a while. Team that went to the Super Bowl. I don't know how their roster is going to turn out this upcoming season. You know, Chase Young left, if I'm not mistaken. He went to the Saints. I don't know what's going on with this wide receiver room. I saw Debo working out with some people with the Giants. But I see their true number one receiver, Brandon Ayuk. Correct me if I'm wrong. He hasn't got his contract extension, right?
He has not, and requested a trade.
And he wants to get traded. He wants to get paid, deservingly so. What teams do you think should be looking for Brandon Ayuk and calling John Lynch and them boys up and say, listen, we know your team. You like to get things done. Let's work this trade out.
Oh, well, it would have been Kansas City before they traded for Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
But the New York Giants should be on the phone. They need a number one receiver. That's one that comes to mind for sure. Maybe Cleveland. That would be one. If I'm, putting him and Amari Cooper together, that's one. Maybe trying to think of one more. Atlanta.
Man, come on, man. It's going to steal my team like that from me.
Oh, my bad. So those three came to mind.
Oh, man. I mean, Atlanta for me is the one. Him and Drake London together, Kyle Pitts. That's amazing. But seeing as I don't think they're going to trade him to a team in NFC, if you want to go AFC, I still think Kansas City would still make that move. You traded for Hollywood Brown. Was Hollywood Brown the true number one?
Nah,
you know,
he's an upgrade.
He's an upgrade. He's an upgrade.
But honestly, you can't give. But you got to think about cap situations and things of that nature because he wants the money.
You're right. So if that's the case, there's a team that needs a wide receiver. The team with the new coach.
Who's that?
The Chargers. You let go of Keenan.
Yeah.
You let go of Keenan.
Yeah, that's one.
You let go of Mike Williams. Yes, you have Palmer, but he's still in his rookie deal. You're obviously going to draft a wide receiver with this first round draft pick. Why don't you look for a Brandon Ayuk and have rebuild your wide receiver room with the young studded quarterback? Because to me, I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's going to try to pull a Tyreek Hill. He may go to a team that may not look like they're ready to win, but he could be that difference maker. And that's what Tyreek was to Miami. And I look at the Chargers, and they're almost there every year, but they always get hit with injuries. Bless you. They always get hit with injuries.
Thank you.
So, I wouldn't be surprised if
man, it's like a dark cloud, man. I don't even know if I'm him. I don't even, if I want to even do that because those guys always get nicked up.
What about the Jets? Did the Jets could do anything?
Oh yeah, you put him and Garrett Wilson together.
Because that's the one. Buffalo.
Oh,
Buffalo.
What about Baltimore?
Something. That would be amazing. That's the team, but we talked about Cat. But if they're able to somehow get that done, because I told my friends, they asked me, what you think? NFL, I said, I'm not worried about the Baltimore Ravens. I said the Houston Texans are, and I said here, the second best team in the AFC. I can't go against Kansas City unless my Eagles are playing them. But I look at Baltimore and I'm not impressed by the roster. Everybody's screaming, you got Derrick Henry, you added a running back to a running team. That's great. I don't think it makes that much of a difference. Your team's going to be the same. You're going to lose the same way. No, I really had to sit back and think about it. Maybe I might be upset about how they lost, but I looked at a running team not wanting to run the ball in the playoffs when that's how they could have won. So you add in a running back. Are you actually going to stick to that? But if that's the case, you have no receivers now. So we're going to load the box on you. Now you have no receivers. So you were balanced attack last year. When it was time for you to lean on the other side of the balanced attack, you didn't do it. This year, you lose Odell. You have inconsistent wide receivers. I'm with you. Brandon Ayuk, they're going to make that done. I don't know about Deebo.
Yeah, honestly, I'm probably putting them number one on the list.
They have to get that. They have to bring some type of receiver in. And if y'all can get him, or if they can get him, I think you got to do that. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, that's the one right there. After giving it some more thought, that's the one right there for sure.
Now, speaking of, we talked about the Jets. Are the Jets back in title contention or are they in title contention at all with a healthy Aaron Rodgers? Has that ship sailed? You bring in a Hassan Reddick, sadly. you bring him in from Philadelphia. Your defense, you have Gardner Johnson still. You have DJ Reed who balled out. You have CJ Mosley. You have good defense always. Offense is but you bring in the Tyron Smith. You got a Morgan Mosley. You got a good offensive line. Is this team legit? And they brought in Mike Williams too. So they're trying to make strides.
They have. But it's still a flawed roster in my opinion.
Okay.
Because Tyron Smith will not finish the season healthy. Ask me how I know. I'm a Cowboys fan. I've seen it for the last 3 years straight. The guy has not been able to play a full season. And for you to expect him to do that with all the wear and tear and all of the years that he has on his body is just unrealistic expectations. Mike Williams is another guy that's another bit injury-prone guy. You got a quarterback coming off an injury. So there's so many question marks. I can't put them in contender status unless everything breaks right. Mm-hmm. And it's hard for me to say this because my brother's a Jets fan. One of my best friends, Mike Hudson, Shout out to them. They both diehard Jets fans. So it's hard for me to say this, but I got it. This is real talk, so I got to keep it real.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's too many question marks for me to put them in that contender status.
Okay. For me, I see what you're saying. I also think winning your division helps you as far as who you play in the playoffs, as far as getting easy wins, as far as building team chemistry. And I look at the Patriots being who they're going to be. I look at the Bills, who I think they're going to be who they always are. The Jets adding Aaron Rodgers. I mean, there was a lot of games we looked at and said, man, if you have a quarterback, things are that different.
Yes.
And so I'm with you on inconsistencies.
Sure.
Come on.
That quarterback play.
I'm with you on question marks. I'm with you on inconsistencies. But if this team can be consistent, how good they can be.
Oh no, the potential
with a guy like Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, if everything breaks right, it could
they can easily win this division. Let me not say easily, but it's possible they can win this division.
Possible.
And again, I mean, look at the AFC. Well, it's tough. The North is back to being the North.
The North is back to being the North. Miami is
good.
No slouch. Although I think Buffalo will take a step back, and there's still questions in New England.
But I say this: how many quarterbacks in the AFC are you taking over Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, let's see.
Mahomes
for sure.
Maybe CJ Stroud.
Yeah, because he's younger. Burrow.
That's it. That's where my list stops.
Let me see. Let me think. You're not taking Josh Allen over him?
No, not at all.
I can't say. I would agree.
Not at all.
Especially with the weapons that Brett Favre. That Aaron Rodgers has.
And it's funny seeing him taking it. Now watch you end up with the Vikings somehow.
I know, right?
Justin Jefferson.
Lamar Jackson. You're not taking Lamar Jackson over?
After what I saw in the playoffs, I'm done with Lamar. But I love Lamar. But your valuable, your best skill set, as far as which made you a 2-time MVP, you're so dynamic. It's like you went away from that, and there's things that happen throughout the games, but quarterbacks get paid the big bucks. They don't want to give the blame, and
they do.
It was opportunities where Lamar could have taken off, and Lamar could have made a difference, and Lamar did not do that, and that hurt that team. Obviously, they ended up losing. And I told you.
What about Justin Herbert?
No.
I'm saying no.
No, I'm saying no.
No.
But I thought about that a little bit more than I thought about Lamar.
Oh, no. I would have taken Lamar before I would take Justin Herbert, no question.
But even then, I'm still a no. It's really, like you said, Patrick Mahomes, which is a yes. Maybe CJ Stroud, which, okay, I can agree with you. Joe Burrow. A healthy Joe Burrow is one of the best quarterbacks. And after that, I don't think there's nobody. I'm not taking – Denver doesn't even know what they're doing. You know, you forget they're even up there in Colorado. The Vegas, I'm not taking their quarterback. You Will Levis, no. I know how you feel about Trevor Lawrence now, so I know you're not doing that.
Oh, shoot. I'm not a Jags fan. I have a bunch of friends that are, but I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm telling – I know
the jury's out. But the jury's out.
Yeah, you give your thoughts on that.
Now, the jury's out. Like, he took a step back this past year for sure. So, yeah, he's not – I'm still taking Aaron Rodgers over him for sure.
All right. Well, any last – well, we didn't do our predictions for the Eastern Conference play-in that's happening on Wednesday. Miami and Philadelphia, who do you have for the 7th seed?
Where's the game at?
Philadelphia.
Is it Philly?
Let me double check.
Shoot, I might
Let me double check. Oh, it's Philadelphia. It's Philadelphia.
I might go with Miami, man, because those guys just have a mental toughness that the Sixers in the past just are not showing. Yeah, I'm going Miami. Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy.
Can we talk about this mental toughness?
Playoff Jimmy.
What makes them so mentally tough?
Playoff Jimmy.
Is
Bam? Bam is in and out, so I get it.
No, well, I said Bam is finally shooting the 3-point line, finally shooting the 3 ball. But what makes? Because I look at the first. Let's really talk about their run last year. You know, you beat Milwaukee. You did what you did to Drew Holiday. I ain't gonna lie, you dogged him. But you got Giannis that's in and out the lineup, and Middleton that's in and out the lineup. They beat you know. I feel like the Knicks series, they were close for some games. Am I wrong? Or it was complete domination by the Heat?
No, that was close. We were right
And I look
there.
at this.
That was almost a 7-game series.
And I look at the Celtics, and y'all went 3-0. Y'all almost
And
lost
they
4
almost,
straight.
yeah.
So
That's what I'm saying. So yeah, but
you know what I said is you know where I'm going.
oh, of course you
You
are.
know
As
what
you
I'm
should.
doing.
Of course,
And
as
this
you
is not
should.
even me being a homer. This is the fact that I love the addition of Buddy Hield.
That was a great
I
pickup.
I love the addition of Kelly
Kelly
Oubre. Got
KO, yes,
KO.
huge pickup.
And if I'm not, let's look at our matchups against this team, and because I'm pretty sure.
You know what? But you know my biggest reason
I'm
is
listening.
because you guys in Philly seem to have the meltdowns. Whether it's the
Well,
the Ben Simmons
you
layup, whether
and
you guys lose
I'm
those
with you.
games
No,
you're supposed to
name the
win at home.
players, right? Ben Simmons, and then James Harden.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all lose those games that you're
I
supposed
don't
to win
see
at home.
Tyrese Maxey being scared of the
No,
moment. And I
oh no,
think I think the
not
addition
at
of
all.
Kyle Lowry will help
No,
that.
he
And
he
again,
will, and he'll be
when you,
motivated too because he was Miami cast them
mm-hmm.
off.
Yep.
So
And when
I
you
get
have
it.
again, when you have a KO, I think this team has more scoring options than last year. I love the team that Daryl Morey. And my thoughts to him will always be to remain the same. But I love the team that he put together. And the fact that I don't think they're not going to have no answer for Embiid. And Spoelstra's a great coach. Maxey has his way against his team without Embiid. With Embiid, let's see what's going to happen. He had been having some injuries, so let's see if those guys are fully healthy.
Is Hero healthy?
Yeah, he's healthy now.
Okay.
But again, I like for one game, a series is different. For one game, it's going to be close.
No, it is. I'm looking.
I need Philadelphia to win this game. I need us to win this game. Because I don't want to go. I don't want to face. I'm not scared of Boston. Just don't want to go against them.
Yeah, and I don't want you to have a meltdown.
But
on the show because
I'm going with Philly though. We've been
as you should.
We've been on a winning streak. I mean, I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We ended the season on an 8-game winning streak. We beat the Heat in a close battle. So it's gonna be a tough series. I mean, a tough game. But I'm going with Philadelphia.
Yeah,
we split the series matchup 2-2. I'm going Philly, and we didn't have Embiid for 3 of those games, if I'm not mistaken.
That makes a big difference. So I can see why you would do that.
Now, the game that you're just playing to play, Chicago and Atlanta. Who you got?
Whoever gets the ball last.
I mean, I'll say this though, to make things interesting.
That's gonna be a 130-point game, I think.
Chicago plays some defense.
Yeah.
Some, but let's say Atlanta wins. Atlanta and Miami. I mean, even Chicago, but I'm going with Atlanta for that one. Atlanta and Miami, they've been very close games. And they match up. Now, the reason why obviously Miami's going to win this game, but if Atlanta was fully healthy, I wouldn't be shocked if they beat a team because they're missing 3 or 4 of their starting forwards, 3 or 4 of their best forwards. Yeah. Jalen Johnson's out, Sadiq Bey is out. Yeah. Their backup forward is out. I mean, so they're missing some guys, but I think the best thing for everybody is for my Sixers to win and Miami to go against Boston because Miami matches up with Boston, and I love this Miami team with Terry Rozier.
Yes,
with
that
Terry.
Was great. That was an upgrade. No disrespect to Kyle.
They haven't been healthy for us to really see how good this team could be. You got 4 20-point scorers. Duncan Robinson has from last year, for everybody saying he did not deserve that contract and he was playing like it, him being out the rotation. To this year, he improved his game. I don't know if you watched him. I'm a league pass guy.
No,
his game has improved.
Space, his handle's gotten tighter. So yeah,
that bench unit with Jaime Jaquez, Caleb Martin.
Yes.
You know, that bench unit is they do their job.
Thomas Bryant was a good pickup in the offseason.
Kevin Love is always going to be Kevin Love.
For sure.
So I need them to lose, though, so my Sixers could go against your Knicks. And I'm saying it here first. We're going to win in 5.
Oh, fuck.
We're going to win in 5.
We're
going to say,
we got to stop. You got to stop.
We're going to win in 5.
First of all, you need to handle your business first before you even think about it.
That's true.
So
that's true.
You jumping the gun, young fella.
That's true. That's true. But Thursday, we're going to have our real full breakdown because we're going to have the playing games being over, you know, because there's some things, you know, we was going to talk about. I want to wait till Thursday, till every single series is locked in. We're going to give predictions on every single series. We're going to touch on some of these updated, you know, the All-NBA. We can finally do our All-NBA squad now that all the season's over. We can still play them 65 games. Give you some more predictions on maybe championship, conference final predictions. It's a lot to be covered, man. It's a lot of injury news that's happening, so we don't want to talk about it prematurely. But Thursday, there's going to be a lot of NBA. We also going to talk about this fight. This fight's coming up.
This weekend.
Yes, and
sir.
we're not gonna be able to have a show about real talk and not give you some real talk about how Ryan Garcia is gonna knock out Devin Haney.
Wait,
you know?
Oh, wow.
So thank you everybody for tuning in to this edition of Monday Real Talk. I'm Chris. Of course, I got my guy Ken NY. Peace out.
Any keys, tempo, time, let's go.
We bring that real talk when it comes to sports, covering the news, giving you the truth. Nothing but that real on hoops in the league. All things NFL, we don't miss a thing. Getting with the coverage, we loving it all day. Picking up the news, tell us wherever the ball lay. With the NFL, NBA, they box so. Sports news in the hands of a man with fair takes. Tell them, coach, statistics and realness that's being spoke. Either headed for the win or they hitting the goal posts. Either way, we woke up to the news of the day. Any kid he could call it, he like to talk it out with Ray. Fast breaks down the lane, they better move out the way, or they pullin' from perimeter. Curry bury the trade, yeah they got it. Woo! Duval with the hottest, Chris and Dev like the master, and mix it up like it's Logic being modest. They been looking for that real, trying to get it feel. Sports podcast, they run it back on the real. That's a steal, yeah. They never sick, but they ill. Real sports talk going, deliver, signed and sealed. We bring that real talk when it comes to sports, covering the news, giving you the truth. Nothing but that real on hoops in the league. All things NFL, we don't miss a thing.